name's Ala.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Mila, and you're listening to the youngest Canadian radio show host on CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo. We would first like to acknowledge that we are here on the traditional territory of the
Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, Ottawa and Neutral peoples. Thank you to all the listeners for tuning in, and thank you to all those on Facebook seeing us live on our new radio show, #Can Youth Vote Matter and #Can Minority Vote Matter awareness campaign. Guys, our radio station needs your support. We're a community channel and we're non-profit, and we're looking to buy new equipment. Just go to radiowaterloo.ca/donate to donate. Thank you. Today, we're honored to have as our guest Tyler Calver, a video journalist for the CTV Kitchener's news teams, news broadcaster, and politician. Tyler, thank you so much for being on our radio show.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a really awesome thing you guys are doing, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. Guys, you might be wondering, why this awareness campaign and radio show? Well, with my awareness campaign and radio show, youth and minorities can learn firsthand what steps are involved in the election process, how they can run or become part of a political campaign or a cause that they believe in, what motivates their political candidates and activists to do what they're doing, and what sacrifices they have to make to do what they're doing. My radio show will show youth and minorities how they can make themselves heard and have their issues get the priority they deserve. Youth are a quarter of Canada's population, and minorities are no less than 1/5 either. Youth and minorities, what I've learned with my awareness campaign is that your elected representatives will listen to you if you voted. The minorities can come out and partner with their candidate, and that candidate, once elected, will support them when making legislation and laws. And youth, you need to understand this. Any legislation made today will affect your present and your future the most. After every election, elected representatives know which groups voted in the elections. If they knew that the youth and minorities voted, they'll listen to them and listen to their issues. Youth and minorities. According to statistics, voter turnout varies across age groups and is worse among young voters, a gap that has widened since the 1990s. Only 38.8% of Canadians aged 18 to 24 voted in 2011, compared to 75.1% aged 65 to 74. Turnout also tends to be lower among single parents and newer immigrants who have obtained citizenship, according to Statistics Canada. The voter turnout in the 2018 Kitchener municipal elections was only 28%. Only 28%. Come on then, youth and minorities. You say they don't listen to us. They don't make legislation or laws that address our issues and concerns. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Remember, Monday, October 21st, youth vote. Youth, look around the world. Wherever a revolution or any activism for change happens, it's always done by the sacrifices of the youth. During these times, even the society calls them out to make the change. The Canadian activist Natalie Moore is a youth. The Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai is a youth. The American Emma Gonzalez is a youth. The young women leading the democratic revolution in Sudan are youth, just like Ella Sella. I was honored that a young woman came to me and said that I reminded her of Ella Sella. The Swedish activist Greta Thunberg is a youth, and the Canadian activist Anna Peltier, an Anishinaabe girl, is also a youth. Listeners, our region is especially blessed with many great and strong women who are a true inspiration, especially for the females, not just only in Canada, but all over the world. Women like Kelly Dick, former NDP MPP candidate in Kitchener-Conestoga and current president of the Waterloo Regional Labour Council and United Food and Commercial Workers Union. Barla Shager, the Waterloo Region record recognized her as 40 under 40 who would lead the region of Waterloo into the future. She was also the leader of the government in the House of Commons. Jacqueline Kiso, Director of Global Customer Experience at Digital Ed and wife to Kitchener South Hespeler Conservative MP candidate Alan Kiso. And Amy Smoke, a Mohawk woman turtle clan from the Six Nations of the Grand River. She is inspiration to all of us. She has overcome many obstacles in her life and stood tall. She has not only healed herself spiritually, but now also guides and heals many, those who search peace and safety. To me, she is a phoenix who has risen from the ashes, and now she gives light to whoever seek it. To me, I have found our natives and their spirituality to be the nearest to the earth and the environment. They believe in protecting nature like no other. Listeners, whenever I have a dream about climate change, I see Mother May Mike Forrest and baby Greta shielded under her wings, the wings of the phoenix, Amy Smoke, who protects them and guides them and helps in restoring the balance between man and nature. Youth and Minorities, our Kitchener Mayor, Barry, has started the Mayor's Task Force on Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. This is a great initiative to counter all the negativities that are increasing and surrounding us today. According to Statistics Canada, hate crime in Canada has increased by almost 50%. That's a lot. Believe me, by any measures, that's a lot. In our own Canada, the ship SS St. Louis, with more than 900 Jewish refugees on board who were seeking asylum and safety. These innocent refugees were returned to Europe, where a large number of them later died in the Holocaust and the death camps. This ship, this voyage of the damned, had children on board who were scared, terrified, and crying, but at that time we looked away. The discrimination that our LGBTQ+ community faced many times, whether it's the Toronto's bathhouse raids or many other such incidences, all these are part of our Canadian history too. KW listeners, you don't have to go far. Just go to your Waterloo Museum or sit with different groups, and you will know that in our own KW, who treated wrongly the German immigrants in the early 1900s, then later down the years, who treated the former Yugoslavian immigrants wrongly, and now who are treating the Syrian immigrants wrongly. Going to the Waterloo Museum, you will learn how our Chinese migrants were taxed wrongly. Also, many Canadian First Nations people were stopped from many of their traditional practices. And who among us can forget Viola Desmond, a woman of color, a woman of minority, a young woman who refused to leave her seat in a white section of a theater? Yes, this happened in our Canada. Guys, have you not heard the hues and cries of parents of children who have autism? Even these kids weren't spared. But guys, our Canada is a beautiful place. We had our downs, but we educate each other. We do not hide our history. All these are our strengths, and this is what makes us great. We stand strong together. Most of us are good at heart. Every time I stand in front of a mirror, I say, "Hey Allah, I'm a Canadian." It makes my heart fill with joy and it brings a smile to my face. We all love calling this beautiful and great country Canada our home. Our beloved veteran Harry once told us that our Canada is like a garden and all the different flowers in it are what make it beautiful. This is what he fought for and what he believed in, and I hope we're able to keep it that way. Guys, I hope you haven't forgotten the time when the first ever Canadian belonging to a minority group became the first ever leader of a major Canadian political party and leader in the House of Commons, was confronted by a person who thought he was a Muslim when he's certainly not. I truly believe that this happens when media puts wrong labels and does not educate properly, like when they use the word white supremacist. I know everyone pictures white people. Similarly, when they say Muslim terrorist, we just picture all Muslims. My own father is a man with a very good heart. When my brother was younger, he used to run after the geese in Victoria Park. And my father would say, "Hey buddy, don't do that. They're not saying anything to you. Just let them live and be happy." Isn't that true, Abdullah?
Yes, but in my defense, I just wanted to hug them.
Guys, you should see my father's face when he's talking with people and they use the word Muslim terrorist. Immediately he has worry on his face and he looks at us as if he wants to protect us, as if something bad might happen to us. My father is a Muslim and he is a good man. I know many white men who are very good too. Media, please do not generalize us. Media, if you call people out properly, if you say that groups like ISIS are bad and wrong, if you identify them properly, then they can be stopped much faster. Media, please stop generalizing people. Youth and minorities, now more than ever, your role is very important. As you hold the power to vote, to make these negativities that are growing ever stronger in our Canada go away, we need to come together and vote, because our vote and our elected representatives will make laws and legislations that can take away these negativities. So guys, again, the Mayor's Task Force on Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion is a great example of what positive things our elected representatives can do. Again, today I'm honored to have Tyler Calver, video journalist for the CTV Kitchener News team, news broadcaster, and politician. Over to Ella.
Tyler, can you please tell us about yourself, about how and why you got into journalism and politics and your struggles?
Well, originally I'm from Grandview, Manitoba. It's a small town of about 1,000 people right in the middle in the heart of Canada. I grew up there and went to broadcasting school in Brandon, Manitoba. From there, I worked in various places in Saskatchewan, and in Winnipeg, and I moved to Peterborough before coming to Kitchener-Waterloo here and joining CTV. So I've had 18 years in broadcasting, covering news, sports, weather, everything you can imagine. I've crossed my entire broadcasting career. And recently I decided to change kind of my path and threw my name into politics. And the reason why I did so is because I was noticing in the last, I would say, 7 to 10 years, the stories that we're covering across this country are changing. We used to cover stories about a lot of corporations that were taking advantage of people, and I found that more and more people were having a hard time living. I was talking to people that were struggling financially, people not able to get the health care that they needed, and it seemed that this was increasing at a vast and alarming rate to me. And so I decided that we, as a younger person too, that it was important that I started to actually listen to people more and try to find solutions to what is a growing problem across this country.
Thank you. Tyler, why do you think the youth and minorities' votes matter, and what steps can be taken to get them more involved in the election process?
Well, kind of as you guys mentioned, that it is so important. The laws that are being made today are going to affect you as a teenager and as a young adult moving forward into your lives. So it's important that youth are paying attention to what is going on. I think that it's drastically important too that people realize we all are the same in this country. We all want clean drinking water. We all want clean air. We all want proper health care. We all want good education. I think those are all things that are commonalities between all groups. So instead of dividing the country and dividing people from age groups or religious sectors or where you grew up, whether you're born here or whether you're an immigrant, we can all agree on those core topics. So I think it's vitally important that we, instead of highlighting our differences, we start coming together and highlighting our similarities and working together more. And so it is so important for young people to be involved, and also for minorities to be involved in the voting process, to realize that it doesn't matter if you've been here 60 years in Canada or 6 years in Canada. We all share that same commonality. We want to live in a peaceful, safe nation.
Thank you.
Tyler, what role do you feel media can play or plays in providing information to youth and minorities about importance of youth and minorities' votes and that their votes does matter?
That's a great question, Abdullah. I think that the media needs to really adapt to a changing climate. I notice more and more younger people are not getting their media on traditional means, such as sitting down at 6 o'clock and watching the newscast on TV. They're getting their information from YouTube. They're getting their information on Instagram. They're getting their information on Twitter. And I think that the media needs to maybe adapt a little bit more to that youth vote. I know in covering a lot of the stories that I've covered, a lot of people that I talk to that are younger, they always say, well, what station is this on? They don't really know that there's an actual 6 o'clock newscast because they didn't grow up with that. So we need as a media need to really reach out to the youth and find where they are. We have to start putting more content on the social media platforms. I do believe though, as young people need to take a bit of caution towards that, because there is a lot of misinformation that does get put up on places like Twitter and on Facebook, where people claiming to be journalists will post information, and there'll be a website that someone may have created that may look legitimate, spreading misinformation, and people will read that and think just because it has a reputable name that it's a reputable newscast, which it's not. So that's one thing that the youth have to be very, very careful about as well.
Thank you. Tyler, there is a lot of talk about fake news nowadays. What can be done by the youth and minorities to confirm if news is fake or real?
That's another great question. we have to be really careful, again, what we're reading, what we're listening to. I think one of the big things that we have to be careful about is opinion related newscasts. A lot of broadcasters now might be giving their own personal slant to what they're seeing, especially when it comes to politics. And it's one of the things that I would say that I'm very proud about. When I worked in 18 years in broadcasting, I never once would give a political slant of what my political beliefs were. I would always continue to tell the story 100% balanced to this opinion and that opinion, and let the viewer decide as to what they thought the issue was. So I think youth and minorities need to watch, listen to what they're hearing, but take it with a grain of salt, and at the end formulate their own opinion, because you're going to get situations where people are giving their opinion as a broadcaster, and they might be putting a slant on that story, and they have to really be listening very carefully to, is this information factual? That's the number one thing. And whether or not that information is being backed up by other news organizations. So I would encourage people to seek out, listen to something, but before forming your opinion, seek out different avenues. Look at different publications, read different newspapers, watch different news organizations before you formulate your opinion, because what we're seeing, and I know that even in Canada, it's a lot of it's happening in the United States, where there's misinformation and people are not really getting the actual facts of what are going on in the world, but they listen to one publication or they will read one publication and then they formulate their opinion. So it'd be like if I told you that the Easter Bunny existed. You could just take my word for it, or you could actually do your own research and figure out if that actually exists. And I think that's what youth and minorities should be doing, and not just taking something at 100% face value before actually forming their own opinion. And that's especially important before they head into that voter booth and to make their X on who they're voting for, is to know that the platform that they're voting for is the platform that they believe in.
Thank you. I want all our listeners to know that we neither support nor oppose any guest or their views. My awareness campaign is solely to make youth and minorities become more involved in the election process. Hey guys, we're the youngest Canadian radio show hosts, but before this radio show, we also made video games too, and we claim to be the youngest siblings to make video games in the world. One of our video games is titled Trevor versus the Heart of Doom. Trevor's power is real Canadian milk and makes Trevor strong. We also started a school project called Making Canadian Kids Strong Again, one kid, one glass of milk at a time. We want milk to be given to elementary students every school day free of cost.
Hey guys, it's Abdullah here. With our video games, we also create a lot of characters. Some of them include Trudy Fruity, which represents compassion and has many flavors of diversity. Sheer Soda, who has a bubbly and friendly personality. He's also very understanding. Mother May, who cares about her environment and wants to protect it. Shagmeet, he is calm, he keeps his composure and holds everyone together. He is also very tough and sturdy. You can check all the characters on our website, www.alaconseil.ca. That is www.aalaaconseil.ca, and order our t-shirts. The money we raise will also help us in making our community strong again, especially for the kids. Also, we are publishing our first four comics. Our comic titles are The Space Force Saves the Moon, a story where the children are separated from their parents and taken to the moon and how they are reunited. 2. Trevor versus the Heart of Doom, a story of how the parents of Trevor are kidnapped and then how Trevor uses the power of real Canadian milk to save them. 3. The Pamper League versus the Diabolical Diapers, Story of how Super Baby, Pacifier Boy, and Pamper Girl fight off Diabolical Diaper and his henchmen. 4. The Perils of the Designers. A story of how man and nature can survive in harmony. Again, the money we raise will also help us in making our community strong again, especially for the kids.
Hey guys, as you know, singing is also a part of our radio show. And today we'll be playing it with guitar. So enjoy Billie Eilish Ocean Eye. Three. Abdullah, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I've been watching you for some time. Can't stop staring at those oceans, burning cities and napalm skies. 15 years inside those ocean eyes. Your ocean eyes, no fair. You really know how to make me cry when you give me those ocean eyes. I'm scared. Never falling from quite the sky, falling into your ocean eyes. Those ocean eyes. I've been walking through a world gone by. Can't stop thinking of your diamond. Careful creature, make friends with time. He left her lonely with a diamond. Those ocean eyes, no fair. You really know how to make me cry when you give me those ocean eyes. I'm scared. I'm never falling from quite the sky, falling into your ocean eyes. Those ocean eyes. No fair. You really know how to make me cry when you give me those ocean eyes. I'm scared. I'm never falling from quite the sky, falling into your ocean eyes. Those ocean eyes.
Thank you very much.
Well, we can rearrange now.
Hey guys, it's Isla here, and subscribe to my Twitter at the AY. At the rate AYLA_awesome. That is at the rate Isla_awesome. And Instagram, Isla_awesome forever. That is AYLA_awesome forever.
Hey guys, we're expecting our grandmother and Uncle Anat to visit us soon and see how beautiful our country Canada is, and how with hard work and with support, we have come to be what we are today. Minorities, if visas for your family and grandparents are something you hold dear and close to your heart, then your votes are what holds all that power. And I know many of us have our visas rejected, and we become upset and lost. But if you use your vote and go and talk to your candidate that this is important to you, this is what your candidate, once elected, will help you with. Hey guys, we're also looking for sponsors for our other projects, specially made for the kids in our community. Just a walking distance from our studio is Google. Hey Google, sponsor our projects. Timmy's and Walmart, what about you? For more information, visit our website, www.allacansay.ca. That is www.aalaaconseil.ca. Youth and minorities, let us know what's important to you so we can share it here. You can text us at 519-721-2905 or email us at ourchildrenmatter@allaconseil.ca. Again, thank you, Tyler, for being on our radio show. Is there anything you'd like to add here?
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm usually the one asking questions. I just wanted to ask you why you thought this was so important to start the radio show.
Well, when I started the radio show, it was when my mom was running for the elections for the first time in Kitchener. And when we were going out, one of her platforms was getting better jobs for youth. But at many houses, we heard people saying, there are jobs out there, but the youth are too lazy. And that's wrong, because they don't have very good jobs. They have to work many survival jobs, minimum wage, for many hours. And then they have to go home, support their family as well, and then pay off their student loans. So that wasn't fair at all. And then the second thing was when we went to visible minorities' houses, they would tell us, what's the use? It's just one vote. It won't matter. And so if we have many people of the same minority group representing but saying that their vote won't matter, then we are having a lack of diversity. We're having a lack of people that are coming out. So that's why I thought it was really important to start my awareness campaign.
Very interesting.
Thank you. And thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to catch us next week, same time, same channel, CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo. Remember, hashtag Can Youth Vote Matter and hashtag Can Minority Vote Matter. It does. It does. Thank you.